Thanks. Darnell, you played in this offense for a year, but obviously things are a little bit different. Johnny added to the room. But what do you like about this year's offense as opposed to maybe what you guys ran out there last year?
I feel like, just adding Johnny to the room, at least our room, it just bring a new flavor to the room. So, Pat, everybody know moves. Connor, he got, a little wiggly guy. I'm more like, bigger, whatever. And Johnny, he just bring a different season into the room. So I feel like that not only helped our room, but, the offense as a whole. He been with Art, so, he kind of knows, things like that. We go 0-4 personnel, we go, anything we can. So I feel like, adding people to our roster is just a plus.
You had a couple big catches today. How much more improved do you feel like your pass catching is, and how much more involved do you feel like you are in the offense this year in that way?
Just speaking about today, I feel like just me as a person, improved, in that area. I feel like that was just like the biggest question, not even just last season, but just coming out the draft, everybody was just like, oh, he's a blocking tight end, but, I never really had a chance to showcase my pass catching or, just me getting the ball. So I feel like that's just an area that I'm going to have to continue to improve in and keep, displaying it out here on the practice field so it shows up on Sundays or, whatever day we play. So.
I say, do you feel like you've always been a good pass catcher and that's something that you just haven't gotten to show, or have you really tried to improve that area?
Personally, I feel like I've always been a good pass catcher. Just going back to it's been some years now, but just going back to high school, I never blocked. I was a receiver in high school and, just transitioned to tight end in college, and, that's when I started learning to block was college. So I feel like I always, able to catch the ball. Is just kind of hard to showcase it when you're very good at something else. And, you got other guys in the room who is excellent in that area. So, I don't complain though. I just embrace my role and happy to be here. So.
Were you like the biggest guy on the field even as a wide receiver?
Yeah, for sure. If you turn on the tape, I'm still the biggest dude on the field. So.
During minicamp, I asked you about your role in the offense. You said that Arthur Smith's asking a lot more of you. Now that you've had 9 practices or so, how do you feel about the expanded role that you're getting this year and how that fits in with Aaron Rodgers and everyone else?
Yeah, just with my role, just today, like as she mentioned, she saw, me catching a little bit more balls today. And, just with this offense, I just feel like my role is just improving day by day. I just got to keep showing it, keep displaying it, and things like that. So it's just pretty much just do what I can and just get a bigger role, sooner or later. So.
Darnell, you talked about your second nature, blocking being second nature to you. What do you say when people ask the question, could this guy actually be an NFL tackle, especially with what you've been doing out here in some of these drills?
You said, can I?
Well, I mean, if someone I feel like if you said pass catching is maybe the biggest question about you, the second biggest question might be, could this guy actually be a tackle in the NFL if he wanted to be?
Personally, I feel like I can, but right now, I'm a tight end, so I'm going to focus on that. But, later on down the road or, any time in the road, if they ask for me to do that, I'm going to do it to my best ability. I personally, I'm going to do it with lots of confidence, so I feel like I can if I wanted to.
I was going to say, you said right now. Are you looking at like a second career at some point? Like, you going to play until you're 40 doing that? I don't remember you ever talking like that before, but.
I don't know what guy, got to play for me, but as of right now, I'm focused on the tight end role until I can or whenever my time's up.
So you're not resistant to that idea necessarily? Or you're not like, I guess, offended that people say that?
No, not at all. Personally, me, I'm an open-minded dude. So if that comes in day-to-day life, football standpoint, relationship standpoint, I'm just an open-minded dude. I had to take criticism, I had to take anything like that. I see both sides of every story. That's just how I live life.
Darnell, kind of going off of all of that, just how much fun was Backs on Backers last night?
For sure, that's probably the funnest drill that we probably do, just because the energy, the mixed emotions, the competitiveness of everybody out there, even with the running backs and just seeing them doing it back to back and back, and even when they lose, they get back up, say one more time. So just seeing that excites me, get my blood flowing a little bit. And I'm the same way. If I lose a rep, I'm gonna, want to actually go again and keep going until, I could, obviously win. But Yeah.
You won every time though, so I mean.
Something like that. Yeah.
Paul, I've been the biggest guy, but well, I'm assuming the biggest guy. But did you learn to use it in the receiving game? I have a 6'1" linebacker on me. You know how to use? Have you learned how to evolve how to use your size? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I feel like I'm still learning. I know today I went against a safety in a one-on-one competition. They threw a flag off of the PI. It's just a second nature, you know. Like I didn't think I fully extended, but it's just like how my body is, and I'm probably just just more bigger. So maybe I probably did bump him a little bit to me, but to him it's like a lot more force. So he does this, and then the ref sees this, and a different reaction. So I guess just not trying to do it as much, or just try to win more cleanly, and just less of this and all that. So.
Players to the offense right now with the way Arthur Smith's dialing things up. Have you noticed that, and how have you worked with, how have you felt that difference from the times you were here?
Yeah, I think you try to fit the concepts that you have to the players. I think Arthur's done a good job of that. And I watched all the games from last year, with the overlays and the play tags, and I feel like I probably agree with you that there's been a good many different concepts that have been installed. Whether they had that last year and it just didn't fit the style, but I'm real comfortable with what we got in, and I think the guys have been executing it well.
How have you liked the tight end heavy packages with all the various talents you have with Pat, Jonnu, Darnell, even Connor? Yeah, it's a
versatile group. Darnell can block a defensive end, very well, and then also, he's caught a lot of balls this camp, and not just short flat routes. He's been catching the ball down the field. Pat is always sure hands and a stud over the middle, and then John has been very explosive, very very impressive. I think he's going to help us. He's going to add to that room quite a bit. Connor does a great job. Connor's fast, man. He's fast for a tight end, and he makes a lot of good plays. So it's a great group.
Are you more at ease this camp than maybe 2 years ago, knowing what your role is, what they signed you to come in for, not as much guessing?
Absolutely, I'm more at ease. I was just a couple of years ago. I've been very grateful to be back here, and because I felt like, you never know when you. I don't know if it could have been my last year, or you just hadn't played in a while, and you're sitting at the third string on the depth chart, and a lot has to happen for you to get on the field, and a lot did happen that year, and I'm grateful, to God for giving me, that window of opportunity. But couldn't be more pumped to be back here and going to work every day with Mike Tomlin and this great roster that Omar Khan's put together.
You told us back after that Bengals game, you were studying for the real estate exam. You were legit. Do you ever think about that? Like, here I am 2 years later, and I'm still kicking and doing well.
I think I'm always, in the off season for sure. You're trying to figure out what you like, because you hear from so many guys. Whether you make $100 million or $1 million, the transition comes at some point, and you want to find out what you're passionate about. But I'm still incredibly passionate about this game, and I love this game, and it is a blessing to come out here and throw balls to DK Metcalf and Calvin Ridley and Roman Wilson and Brandon and Ben and the slew of receivers and tight ends that we have. It's so fun playing this position, and I'm so grateful that I'm still able to do it.
A couple years ago, when you were thrust into action, you made the most of your opportunity. What's the key in your current role to stay ready and to maximize your opportunities if they do come?
Yeah, I think just it's always that when you get into the season and are you studying more because you're not getting the physical reps, so are you doing more, doubling down on the mental work and the walk-through reps and stealing any throws you can get after practice. That is the way to hang, to be ready and when you're called upon. And the NFL's backup quarterback to make sure you're sharp and you're not just coasting through the year, because you never know when your opportunity is going to come.
What's the dynamic like in the quarterback room during meetings? How much is Aaron kind of giving input and just examples of things he's seen throughout his time?
Yeah, he has got a great social awareness. He's not trying to dominate the meeting or step on the coach's toes, but when he's got a nugget of wisdom, he is absolutely going to speak up in a respectful way and communicate that to the room, and then that often breeds a lot of conversations and a lot of learning. So that's been a great resource that I'm glad I've been able to have.
You were here with Darnell this rookie year. How have you seen his game progress, both blocking and as a pass catcher?
Yeah, he's I don't know how many human beings can run the way he does at 300 pounds, or 290 and 299. It's pretty impressive. He's huge hands, and he's smart. And he's a total package.